Excuse the camera angle. All right, so basically part 3 to what if DEKU had a zombification quirk. So we're gonna hit this bad boy off nice, simple, clean. All Might's digging himself into a bigger hole with each passing second. Okay, so bro doesn't know what he's doing. All right, and what ended up happening, right, is once he says goodbye to All Might's like, what are you talking about? DEKU, with his red eyes, because that's what I was fully established it on, like red eyes just hit different, right? His body moves and he's just like, let's get this over with. Now I want you to know something. The other people are like screaming at All Might, like their vocal cords are getting to it, and eventually as I was like, all right, that's enough. He doesn't hear us, like he's too focused on this, right? And we're gonna say like their whole battlefield is the USJ, so let's kind of give like a scaling, okay? So what ended up happening is they're duking it out. Like they're going crazy with the works, okay? And All Might and DEKU, they're throwing the quality smoke, quality hands. You hear me? So with that being said, they and so DEKU's just dog walking, bro, right? And I'm not gonna go into every detail, but like imagine they're in the fire area, they're in the swimming pool area, they're going to all these other areas. It's kind of like Goku and Jiren in a Tournament of Power. So we get that going, and we have them just and then DEKU's outclassing him. Like he's not struggling in the slightest, right? He's like weave. It's like seeing a skilled martial artist, skilled boxer, skilled fighter fight someone that's only been using like raw power. So you see this every corner, every step of the way. He's like, as I thought, hits him with a good cross. So him, bam. And it's like, you've seen the impact, you've seen it go home. You see the perfect footwork, the perfect everything. Because DEKU's had the technique, he just didn't have the power per se. He's been restraining himself. There's no more restraining, all right? We're fully in here. We're fully locked in. So then, after like completely outskilling All Might, then he starts out like philosophizing All Might, because he's like, bro, you got all this influence, you got all this power, but what have you done? I forgot what they called it, but we're just going to call them the quirk ones. I don't know. But it's the people with the quirks that alter your physical appearance. So like he's like, what you gonna do about them, All Might? Bam, bam, bam. He's like, what do you mean? I saved X amount of people. Like it's looking like he's really losing the argument, which he is, but like it's such a it's just devious, okay? So he's like, what have you done to help these people? The crime rate's gone down, good, since your time of like, doing your stuff or whatever. But what about these people? What about the quirkless people? What about the people that can't fight for themselves? What about this? What about that? And like as he's like fighting him or whatever, All Might is like throwing his bunches back. So they're having like this psychological philosophy-esque like kind of battle, and like DEKU's just like, no, I need you to answer these questions, bro. Because you talk about anyone can be a hero, but when people ask, can they be a hero, you shut them down. If they don't have a quirk, or the quirk isn't friendly, if their quirk isn't what it's supposed to be, like he is literally beautifully tearing everything All Might knows down. And you're gonna remember this. Like you're gonna remember this day. You will not forget this pain. You will not forget this, because you're only experiencing 1/10, like not even a true percentage of the pain that we've experienced and what we've had to deal with and what we've had to go with our whole lives and like stuff like that. So imagine going through all this pain and not being able to fight back. Then seeing you parade around with your big smile saying anyone can be a hero, anyone can do anything. Because what you don't get is if anyone can be a hero, right? Going off of your own definition. Like he's like got him, like grabs him or whatever, right? So this means multiple things. That means you're telling me I should be strong enough to fight back, and if I'm not, I'm doing something wrong. And then even if that is or isn't true, but we'll say it's true to make it hit home a little more. That also means the people that are doing bad to me should be able to be heroes too, so why did they choose to be a villain? Don't you see the contradiction? And once again, his face is kind of like a ripple of water. He's like, come on now. Eyes becoming more ferociously red, and you could just see like black kind of like cracks forming, kind of like this, but like much thicker, and it's just black black and like a slight tinge of red. And he's like, come on, think about it. And then All Might's just like, I mean, I didn't know exactly. It's almost like a sonic boom. When I give feats like that, it's not for power scaling effect. It's more of just me telling the story. So don't overthink it. Boom, a sonic boom happens. All Might gets kicked, but before he hits the students, Deku appears right behind him. Smacks him back. Leaking on the ground. Big bad, big upset. Leaking down and stuff. He's like, that's what I thought. Of course you wouldn't know. You only want to focus on the pretty things in society. And this is him walking. And so then All Might has no rebuttal. He's lost the argument. And then he grabs him and just like drags him on some brawling type timing. Puts him in front of his students. So Deku changes his appearance back with his hair. And like his hair becomes a little bit more green. It's still got that white hue to it, but he like goes to his base form, and then he says, "Look at me." And then All Might looks up at him, and then he realizes, "Wait, you're exactly." But he bites his hand, and his mouth starts to expand, and he spits it out, right? And everyone's like kind of alert, but like they all like chill the fuck out because he said not to move type shit, right? This is funny, but like he gives them a red pill and a blue pill, right? The blue pill is literally just them being able to see what All Might out of his own mouth told him. These are my shared experiences, and then he added like some extra experiences that he shared with each of them, so they know that it's not something like, you know, artificial, whatever. The red pill, right, is the pill that allows them to become one with him, but he explained all of this, like, we'll just say really quick, telepathy doesn't matter. So anyways, that happens. Then this is where things get brutal. He looks at All Might and he says, I'm gonna beat you now. The powerless, you told me, all that stuff, that doesn't matter. I'm doing this for all the people that will see this. And he's like, see this? What are you talking about? There's no cameras here. That's what you think. This will be something good to rewatch while you heal. And then he just starts wailing on him, bro. I mean, him. And I mean, it's full technique. It's like you got a new level of power, right? On some Dragon Ball Z shit, bro. Because these niggas get these new transformations and be pulling out like it's some type of haircut and shit, right? So he pulls out, bro, and he just starts throwing out all these combination moves and everything, bro. Every bone in his body is broken. Every ligament is fucked up. Every potential thing that could get fucked up in a human's body is fucked up. Then you have to add the All Might, because like the All Might we see at the start of the show is stronger than the one we see at the end of the show, anime, because manga. But like, no, bro, like literally, because like bro was in a weakened state, like. So he literally, and I'll even go even further and say he heals All Might just to get the full fight and still dog-walked him, okay? And then he breaks every bone, everything in his body, and you're just seeing this. Everyone's like, oh my God, he's doing this to All Might, blah, blah, blah. Bakugo's like, I can't stand for this. And then everyone takes like a particular second to stop for a second, looks at the blue pill, and they all simultaneously take it. And then he like got All Might, bro, and All Might's just like, all you see is red and just like bruised and battered. You don't even see him anymore. He's just like dangling or whatever. He drops him. The only reason Bakugo went up because you hear the ding ding. So he drops him, right, and just puts him into the wall, bro. So you just see a big All Might dent, bro. And you don't even see pupils or eyes or anything. It's just like a big red stain, bro. Like on some Tom and Jerry when they fall through a hole. But that's All Might. That's what he looks like, right? He did this in such a precise way because he knows the human body, because food. And he did that in such a precise way to the point where he what's the word I'm looking for? He knew how to do everything to damage him without ruining anything or killing him, right? Plus, he could always theoretically bring him back, but that's its own story. So Bakugo goes in, and like Bakugo tries to, come out, get off of All Might, and then Deku fizzes out of reality, damn near, bro. That's how fast he was moving on some after image timing. Bakugo, throws an explosion, and then he pops over to everyone else, and he's like, "Hey, I already knew y'all was gonna do it. I'm actually surprised Eraserhead did it, but hey, we're here now. So you enjoy that. It's gonna take you're gonna experience a good chunk of what I've went through in such a short period of time. But it's only gonna be about 3 seconds. Don't trip. It's gonna be a little trippy. I know. I know what I did there. I didn't mean to, but whatever. I'm gonna go fuck that dude up because you'll get what I mean in like 3 seconds real time, 2 years your time, but toodaloo. And then he goes back, and then you just like, as they're all like taking it, and like it'll be different people. Like Hirshima's like, I'm a man. And then like Momo's like, my gut feeling, no. My logic side is telling me I shouldn't, but my feeling's telling me I should, or something to that effect. Everybody just starts taking it, right? And Aizawa's like, just to see what happens, right? And so then that happens. And then I think also Aizawa kind of started the trend because he was like, if he really wanted to kill us, he could have easily killed us. Like, you saw what he just did to All Might. So they're all just kind of like, I doubt he'll have some elaborate plan because he could just literally kill us or whatever he did to those villains, okay? He could have did some shit, but he didn't. So we'll go with it, right? So now we fast forward a little bit, right? Bakugo is leaking, bro. Every bone in his body is broken, bro, and he wants to beat on him more, but he's just like, he looks bro in the eyes, red eyes and all, and just like, you're weak. You will always be weak. Why? Because I'm strong. And let me see, what was it that you told me? The strong gets to make the rules. Wasn't it something? I actually like that philosophy. Thank you. and just bro slumped. He's out of there, right? So he's out. Then Deku grabs All Might by the noggin, and like you can see his hand just go into the wall and pull him out, and all you hear is and so you see that shit happen, and literally it's like it's almost like you're peeling something like Velcro or something, but you can hear the guts of the organs, and you're just like, ugh, right? And then like he smacks All Might in the back and like rejuvenates bro just a little bit, so he's aware and conscious. He's like, he knows what's going on, but like he can't do anything. And then he's like, he also does the same thing to Bakugo and just pulls them up to the class, and it's like, so what do y'all think? All of their looks change, right? Because they're seeing how bad like Bakugo did that. Like, I get bro was an attitude problem. Aizawa was pissed, bro. He damn near want to go around. He's like, what the fuck? Like, you're telling me that they let some kids like this into the school? No, forget the kids. All Might? Toshinori? Really? You told an aspiring hero not to become a hero because he looked funny? Are you fucking kidding? Deku raises his hand. He says, no. It's okay. And then he looks to the camera. No one else knows this dude's here. It's literally on some shit like this. And he's just like, you got all that? And everyone looks. They're like, they see what he's talking about because they've seen some of like his like most recent memories. That's the only downside to it. It forces them to, even when he makes it, doesn't matter how strong he makes it or how potent or detailed, you're gonna see some of like his most recent memories. So that happens, right? Everyone's tweaking out, everyone's crashing out, and they're like, oh, okay. And then Deku leaves. He's like, join me, don't join me. It doesn't matter. I will not go out of my way to harm people. I will make sure I keep my people in line. But at the end of the day, we can't hate one another if we're all one same thing. With like a very determined look in his face, right? So there's technically 2 versions of this particular Deku, which is gonna make sense in a second because all this other stuff I don't have to go over. We're about to do a speed run, to make this the final part. All right, so lock in. So after this happens, the world changes completely, right? Deku's doing his own thing, right? But All Might's going through the shitter. Crime rates are extremely high. Crime rate is extremely high. Everyone's hating each other. And All Might, his career is gone. Bakugo's any hope or prospect of career is gone. He's been expelled. All for One is on the move. Like, he's being a lot more proactive because Shigaraki's dead. That was just kind of his whole master plan, even though that's a plot fucking hole. But I digress. So all this is happening while Deku is like, if we showed like a map, I know y'all might be young, but I feel like for some of the older viewers, there was this game on iPhone and it was on like other phones, but it was like the infection thing kind of, right? Where like you have a virus, it doesn't do nothing, it's a common cold, and then you slowly build it up to where it's affecting everything. If somebody's in the comment know what I'm talking about, please link it down down in the comment. But like, it was one of those, bro, where like the infection started to like spread around or whatever. It's kind of like this. What ended up happening is its territory. It went from like just like a 2 house, not really, but like to like a neighborhood to like 2 neighborhoods, and then it kept expanding or whatever in months of Japan, right? Long story short, he eventually conquers everything, right? He's pretty much almost got most of the stuff, and governments try to stop them, but they can't handle bro. They can't hang with bro. All right, like, he's literally a fucking freak of nature. Okay, he's literally this like personification of like him, like energy almost, if that makes any sense. And they've tried to nuke him. He stopped that. Him and Toga helped. Toga came through and helped out. Remember that video he did? He got most of the League of Villains. Endeavor got brought to justice, okay? And I want to make this clear because it's kind of hard to explain, but like, he doesn't fully have Japan under his control yet. It's in the process. So this is all happening like in like a movie ending flash kind of like thing. So him and Endeavor throw some hands, and then bro pulls up with the, information. Class 1A probably sitting this out, but they're going to eventually join them. We'll just save time. But there's a whole bunch of should we not kind of talk, but come on, they going to do it. And Deku eventually does this, but there is one minor thing that's in the way. He sees All Might again. All Might's like, I've let this go on too long. I need to bring justice back. And I'm like, justice? Do you think it's justice putting a nuke on these innocent people, innocent lives that just want a little peace and sanction? Justice, his face contorts again. Justice, how dare you speak of justice when you're the one that made society the way it is? But I've saved him before he can finish anything. Deku just to the ground. You've saved nothing. Pulls him out, throws him. You've saved nothing. He's like spitting, like you can see Deku is like very feral. And he's like, you've saved nothing. Did you really think it? Like, Deku is just becoming more and more of a personification of something. And he's like, did you really think putting society on your back like that? So what happened if you died? Everything that's happening now is just an expedition. You're still alive, All Might. So what would happen if you died? Like, he's kind of talking like this. What would have happened if you died? Who would be there then? You want to say the next generation, but you didn't even entrust the power to the next generation. But that's beside the point. You didn't even want to help people become heroes, teach them. You wanted to sit there and lie. You want to say, oh, it's because of him. No, it's not because of One for All. That's bullshit, and you know it, All Might. Spit, anger, all that shit. You know it's bullshit. You didn't want people to know about your power because you think they was going to steal it? Come on, you're All Might, dog. And then also, if you let people know I was quirkless once, I gained this power, you could inspire so many other people. Power flaring up, bro. You could just see like, it's almost like a souls are coming up. Actually, honestly, you could pause the video and come back. If you come back, please. Literally look up Cell powering up. Dragon Ball Z Cell powering up. It's like that, but even more sadistic, even more somber. It's just such a thing, right? If I do edit this, when I edit this or get to the editing version, I totally will put that in there for that moment, just so that's like ooey. But we have to hit the like goals on this video, the other video, and then this video. And then when I make the movie special of me putting this together, we have to hit the like goal on that. Then I'll do like a extended version of like, you know, where everything's nice, pretty, and edited and stuff like that. Anyways, and so he's like, you idiot. And he powers up, right? And they start duking it or whatever, but it's like both of them, he's controlling his power or whatever, because he's like, I'm not gonna kill anything, but he can't even hang with like a small percentage of my might. And so All Might doesn't know what to do because he's getting milli rods. Like he's just kick, drop kick. Like he's getting outclassed in every regard. And then the unexpected happens. Deku senses that's present. It's like this raw power, and he's like, he's here. He puts his hands together and releases a shitload of power all at once. You're seeing like this purplish, key-ish, Goku black kind of like aura. And then all he says is max power zombie apocalypse, right? Twice pops up out of everywhere, and it's like he's covering this like particular like spear of like people, right? And he's like, twice, you know what you need to do, right? And then he's like, compress, you have to make this work, right? Boom. So this all happens in like such a short period of time. Twice made a whole bunch of copies of Compress, and then those Twice made more copies of Twice, and then there's like this ripple chain of effects, right? But Deku did all of this because he was saving everyone in this area, right? So then All For One appears up all majestic like and shit, and like, to think I would team up with my, I don't remember how he talks, so I can't even do his like inflations right, but he was like, to think that I would team up with my worst nemesis. No matter, we'll take care of this, we'll take care of him and settle the score. They lost. He dog walked them, both of them. He almost wanted to make them zombies, but he was like, nah, I'll save y'all for something later, something better. And so, no Diddy, I already know some of y'all niggas like, what do you mean by that? So anyways, after he dog walks both of them, right? And you just see like both of them just kind of leaked out, and Jeff was just there like, y'all was the last obstacle. Everything else is taken care of. He saved Ares, like he did all this other stuff, like all these people have been taken care of. And so he does this, right? And he's just sitting there walking around. And then the people that he saved, they're like alive and they're in the proximity. They come over and they're like, All Might, why did you not save us? And he's like, no. And then you hear All For One laughing, right? He's laughing his ass off, right? Because he's like, to think. He's cackling, right? He's like, to think some snot-nosed brat, which he doesn't really talk like that, but like just he would say that in his way of saying things. To think someone, I think he would say it more elegantly. I think he said, to think someone that hasn't even lived a quarter of how long I've lived cheats my goal in not nearly like a fraction of the time. Like, you know what I mean? It would be something in that poetic kind of like sense, right? He's like that you see him get up, and then Deku doesn't even acknowledge him getting up, right? There's two things that happen, two different verses, right? He gets up, and the main one that we're over right now is he falls down before he could do what he was going to do. Keep that in mind. The other version, I'm just gonna tell you, it doesn't matter. The other version, he actually lives long enough, gives all his quirks over to him, no charge at all, because he's like, hey, he actually does take his vestige in there too, because he wants to see what will this be, this new world. Is it going to be something he would have done? Is it going to be something better? Like, he wants to know, so he dies. But before he does that, he also gets All Might's quirk, that quirk, and he combines it with his quirk and then does this, whatever, right? So that happens, so Deku becomes even more stronger. And then since his body's able to regenerate, it's a whole own thing, okay? So these two versions, all of everything that happens besides that particular moment is the exact same. So anyways, bro comes through and they're like, why did you not save us, blah, blah, blah. Like, if it wasn't for him, to think that we really believed in you all these years. And even some of the older people are saying that. And then like Deku they look at him and they like almost like kind of like bow, like we're ready to join you. Like they were like the last resistant of people that didn't want to join him. And he's like, very well, let's get this party started. And then this is where it would end, but for the most part, you just see Deku dealing, like rebuilding society as a whole. Like everything's changing, like everyone's one and the same. Like, and then you would see small snippets and flashes of like him fighting New Order and some of these other pro heroes and stuff like that. But sooner than later, they all either join him or they're isolated. Like, so they all join because it's like, bro, it's like fighting a god, bro. You're not winning, bro. And then he's like, all right, cool. And then long story short, everyone's working with him. You get small bits and panels of like him like talking to Mariko, and he's like, it took you a minute to join. You was so stubborn. I don't know why you thought you could stand up to me. And she's like, whatever. It's kind of like a tsundere kind of like thing, but not really, but kind of. That's the closest way I can do that. And so you see him just talking to some of his one of his classmates. There's no need for heroes. There's no need for any strife or pain or suffering. We are all in one. And then one of the other things too is like some of the older people that don't want to be around no more, they cut their heads off, right? Take their skull, give their brain to the youngest generation, and allow all those memories and knowledge that they learned throughout their years to be passed on. So, I mean, you theoretically could live until X amount of years, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can become an empty husk where you just move autonomously with just body language and stuff. Deku can even assign you to people. There's no need for class. There's no need for royalty. There's no need for that. The planet is a lot more healthier. We don't need air conditioning and all that stuff. Now, I'm not saying they don't have it because they're still human, but they're not, if that makes sense. So a lot of this stuff doesn't happen. I mean, a lot of the stuff is peaceful. It's calm and soothing. It's all of this stuff, right? Society as a whole is much better off and stuff. Nature is able to be nature. Everything has a respectable rule and order and structure to it. And so it's like, all right, we're here. We're good, right? And so it's like this world, like if we're going hunting, which they're going to be eating more of a carnivorous kind of thing. They can eat plants too. But it's like if we're hunting, we can only do X amount of this. And if we're reproducing, we can only do this. So a lot of the stuff that would be fueled for meaningless stuff, right, is allocated to making sure the animals are able to keep the ecosystem going. So make sure the plants are able to grow in the way they need to grow. And it's just like this whole peaceful utopia kind of like thing, right? And then Deku's just like sitting there, like just, you could just see a tear come from his eye. And all he mumbles to himself is, this isn't right. But then things get shaken up a little bit. Things become a little different when somebody comes through a portal. And this right here is about to be where the ending, where the points diverge, right? He comes through a portal. A person comes through this portal, and then with a rough look on his face, he sniffs around and he's like, wait a minute. I know that smell. And then he acts calm and cool and collected because he is. He's like, what's going on? He looks around. He goes to a town. People welcome him. Everything's all peaceful and stuff. And then he realizes something. This world, it's filled with zombies. Everywhere he looks, he's using his zombie detection skills. He's using a couple of different skills, and he's like, no. Everything is zombies. It's, what is going on here? And then, before he can react, he feels the most monstrous presence he's ever experienced. He sees Deku behind him, and he's like, who are you? And then he turns around and he says, I know that voice anywhere. He looks, bro, dead in the eyes, bro. With his eyes more of a, I guess we can make his eyes like a bluish green maybe to like to show the contrast of it a little bit. But he's just like, I'm you. and then you just see his full face, and it's like a Deku. It's like future Gohan's look versus canon Gohan's look kind of like thing, or like a fan art picture of how Gohan should have looked or how Naruto should have looked. It's kind of like that, right? And he looks at him, he's like, I'm you. And then bro she says, I see. I'm the you that didn't give up. And he's like, that makes sense. So you're telling me when we was in that cabin, yeah, I didn't make that decision. You're disgusting. Because I know exactly what decision you made. You made the decision to eat